This episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by Liquid IV. The Summer Olympics are nearly upon us, and hydration is important for athletes and fans. And Liquid IV offers extraordinary hydration for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being.
A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients, making it the perfect summertime companion whether you're working out, chilling poolside, traveling.
So tear, pour, and live more, and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. Money in the Bank 2024 is in the books. We've got a new Miss Money in the Bank, and we had a new Mr. Money in the Bank, but that ship has sailed for Drew McIntyre, who pulled down the briefcase and then proceeded to cash in and make the world title match a triple threat, as he had promised to do, only for CM Punk to screw him over once again, further adding more intrigue, I guess, to their feud. You have a weird look on your face, Larson, so not a huge fan of this move?
Doesn't really add more intrigue. It's just kind of more of the same. Like, we talked about this before, about a possibility, because it was a very distinct possibility. It's a very distinct possibility that, in fact, did play out. That Drew could win the briefcase, cash in, and Punk cost him the successful cash in. And at that point, is it just kind of too much? Does it get kind of silly, cartoonish even, to the degree with which they go back to this well, where Drew is seemingly on the verge of achieving something of great success, only for Punk to cost him. I understand Punk said, as long as he lives, he'll make sure Drew McIntyre is not world champion. I get it. But at the same time, this is like the 4th time Punk has cost him a title opportunity. At a certain point, it kind of just feels like too much. Give me a wrinkle. Give me something new. Give me something that's unexpected. You know, that's more or less my thing. It's the same story beat over and over and over again. And whether it was like the rule of 3s in storytelling, you do something 3 times to maximize the effect of this. They did it a 4th time here. Feel like a little bit too much. Give me something. Give me a different wrinkle to it.
Yeah.
Maybe how about this? How about this? If it's a situation where Drew sees Punk and he takes his focus off the cash in entirely because he's like, oh, I got to get Punk out of the equation here. And that way, it's like his own failings costing him the cash in rather than Punk just laying him out again. You know, give me a different take on Punk costing Drew the match rather than just he beats him up again. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah. So on one hand, I honestly don't know. I wasn't like super into it. On the other hand, I look at the alternative, which is Drew continually tries to cash in, Punk continually thwarts it. You know, you get the almost cash in, Punk does something, because you know that's how they would play it. It's like every time he turns around, and so there's no real cash in there. Looking at the landscape ahead with Gunther versus Priest so you can't make like Drew I just think there's like so many people that are going to be vying for this world title. I mean, Gunther's obviously a strong candidate to win at SummerSlam.
Going to win at SummerSlam. Yes, you could say that.
I think there's also a chance that he doesn't, and they continue this Priest run. Probably call it like 80-20 that Priest retains at SummerSlam. Joking. You still got Jey Uso out there, who's world championship material at least. You know, he's like the most over guy in the company. Punk versus Drew doesn't need the title.
No.
So I'm not mad at them and another like, oh, it's how long has he had this briefcase? Just like rip the Band-Aid off now. You know, you got SummerSlam coming up. So I think I'm okay with it, but there's also the matter of like the botch pin beforehand, which kind of just left us scratching our heads, because what happened was Seth pinned Damian Priest after like a Falcon Arrow, and Priest didn't kick out at 3.
No, because I think Drew's music was supposed to hit at the 2 count.
I think so, yeah.
And so the ref stopped counting.
Yeah.
Holding up, 2 fingers, even though Priest was flat on his back the whole time. And so, yeah, it seems like the cue for the music was late.
So, like, that was awkward. And then, yeah, the story beat seemed a little on the obvious side. That being said, I watched it while you were talking on Twitter here. I noticed Drew at the post-show bit where he was just, like, exploding. And, it does add more fuel to the fire, even if it's a bit of an obvious story beat. It is feud of the year so far, at least in WWE. It's feud of the year. And so you head into SummerSlam with even more fuel to it. So I think I'm okay with it. It was just the moment itself was kind of wonky, and it did seem like kind of an obvious beat.
Yeah.
Like too obvious, because people were like, oh, well, if Punk can't do it, then AJ Lee's going to come out and screw Drew out of the briefcase, altogether.
It seemed a certainty that if and when Drew won, when he tried to cash in, like a lot of people were thinking, well, Punk will interfere in the ladder match and cost Drew that. And my thought process was, no, it's more heartbreaking if he wins the briefcase, cashes in, and then Punk costs him the match. I get that. But it isn't so much even that Punk cost him, even though I'm not huge on it. It's just the same fashion. Just an attack. Like, give us a wrinkle on it. Something different.
Yeah.
Something that gives extra dimension to either of these characters. Something.
Yeah.
Rather than just Drew gets attacked again by Punk. He lays him out. Drew fails. It's the same thing we've seen 3 or 4 times already. It's just
I don't disagree with that.
Give us something new.
Yeah. There definitely should have been some additional intrigue instead of just, oh, it's Punk again.
Yeah.
So no, I definitely feel that. Even
if, for instance, when Punk was staring at the World Heavyweight title, when he took his eyes off the ball for a moment,
I thought that would be a thing. Yeah.
And he swung at Drew and missed. Drew hits Punk with a Claymore, knocks him off the apron, whatever, and somehow that plays into the finish. Drew turns around, choke slam for Priest. He loses. Something like that, even. Yeah. Just something different,
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Once he looked at the title, I was like, oh shit, is he gonna? It's like the Lord of the Rings thing. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Where they like look at the ring and they're like, oh wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Or Llewellyn and the money and No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. Let's talk about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Wild match. A lot of crazy spots.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this was nuts.
It was nuts. Chelsea Green going through a couple of tables on the floor towards the end was insane. Tiffany Stratton won the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. Not a massive surprise. She was the favorite, I believe, going into the match. In terms of the betting odds, in terms of our predictions challenge, she was the favorite. And turns out her status as the favorite was warranted because she did, in fact, win. We've talked about a scenario where, she's getting friendly with Nia Jax. If it's a situation where Nia maybe loses to Bayley at SummerSlam, but then lays her out with a couple of annihilators, Tiffany comes in, cashes in potentially.
Yeah.
And then who knows how that would affect Tiffany and Nia's
keep talking.
dynamic.
I'll be right back. This dog is killing us.
Tiffany and Nia's dynamic going forward. Just especially after what happened on SmackDown, the brief interaction between Naomi and Bayley when Bayley says she got the match with Piper. I was already kind of thinking that Naomi had a pretty good chance of winning, and after that segment, I was like, okay, they're setting something up for Naomi and Bayley. I don't know if it's going to be as soon as SummerSlam, but it could be. So I thought Naomi had a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I thought
I even convinced you of that.
Okay, so yeah, like a couple, I did my early predictions for Money in the Bank over at WrestleJuice 2 weeks ago, and I had both Drew and Tiffany. And along the way, I thought they made a pretty compelling case for other people. I thought they made a compelling case for Jey Uso when you think about it. And then somebody mentioned that, yeah, he's on the main graphic. He's like on the custom graphic, so it's probably not going to be him. But, when you look at Jey Uso, then they were like, hey, we want everybody to wear white for a whiteout. I was like, oh, Jey wears white a lot. And then Naomi with her crazy glow stuff, that would help that as well. But also just like the story there for Naomi, I thought was a really, really strong one. And I thought the story for Chelsea was a really strong one. And honestly, she's been putting in such good work. You look at Tiffany after the thing where she has that little thing with Trish Stratus. Tiffany and Chelsea, to a degree, occupy a similar kind of realm. They're like bad guys. They're kind of like shitty, but Chelsea is just charming as hell. So it's kind of hard to root against her. And the crowd is picking up on Tiffany as well. They're both bad guys that the crowd roots for. I just think Chelsea is so much further along as a character than Tiffany is.
Agreed.
And I know they're setting that stuff up with Nia. And Tiffany has shown like a lot of improvement she showed up on main roster. She was already really good in the ring. NXT, she was incredibly quick to pick up on this stuff. So like she's there and everything. But like, I don't know. I feel like there are more interesting stories either with Chelsea or especially with Naomi.
Yeah.
I guess more with Naomi than anybody. But yeah, it was kind of an obvious pick. We had seen this coming a mile away. I was really enamored with the Naomi story. I thought that'd been great. And then Chelsea Green comes out and the crowd is just firmly behind her, much like LA Knight was last year. And he didn't win it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, I guess, with Tiffany. If this helps develop her more, if, this alliance with Nia Jax becomes a real thing and there's a wrinkle there as well. I still get the feeling Tiffany's going to cash in at SummerSlam after Bayley barely ekes out a victory over Nia Jax. And because of who Nia Jax is, she's going to absolutely destroy Bayley, lose, and then Tiffany will cash in, and we'll see what the dynamic there is between Tiffany and Nia Jax.
Yeah, exactly. Seems like the story is right there to be told if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
And a genuine surprise of the evening, John Cena comes out about halfway through the show after being introduced by Trish Stratus and announces that 2025 will be his final year as a WWE superstar. According to chat here, he since clarified at the press conference that he'll be wrestling throughout 2025, not just until WrestleMania.
So Mania is going to be his last Mania, but he will
not
continue
his last
from there.
match. Yes.
So he's going to win the title at WrestleMania.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
I say that I do say that in jest, but if WWE wants people that they currently have under contract and will have under a Legends contract for sure with John Cena, if they want somebody like that to have the record, as opposed to who has the record officially now with WWE, I wouldn't be surprised to see him win something. I wouldn't be surprised. They like Roman having, they always refer to Roman when it comes to like the record or, the longest reign, even though it's, there's several
it's
people.
Like fifth place or something like that all the time. Yeah. Fifth, sixth, whatever. I'm just pulling a number out, but it's not top three. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But they can say that.
Yeah.
In the modern era,
the longest reigning
last
champ
40
of the modern
years.
era. Yeah. Modern era is what they usually say. Yeah.
With Cena, they could say of all time, and they've got 2 world titles. It doesn't have to be Cody's title. It could be the other one. He could beat Gunther at WrestleMania. Or Solo.
Only if Gunther beats.
If Solo beats Cody for it. Let me ask you this. On SmackDown, we had Solo Sikoa drop a promo in a filmed vignette way where he basically says, Roman dropped the ball. He's no longer the tribal chief. I'm coming after Cody's title.
Yeah.
What does that say to you for SummerSlam? Roman did not show up tonight. Does that say now to you, Solo versus Cody is for sure the SummerSlam match?
Solo pinned Cody to win the main event tonight. Bad Bloodline gets the win. Roman didn't return. Yeah, that's going to be the match at SummerSlam. Absolutely, Solo versus Cody. I fully expect Cody to retain. I don't think Solo's going to win. Whether it's Roman makes his return before the match ends, distracting Solo, leading to a Cody win, or Cody gets the 3 crossroads and gets the win, then Solo or Roman returns. I don't know the order of things. Kind of makes more sense the former, given that's somewhat protected loss for Solo. But yeah, I don't see Cody dropping that belt at SummerSlam. Because he's
I
still
don't
got to have a
see
title
him-
match against Randy Orton at some time, because Randy Orton can't take his eyes off that championship whenever it's on Cody's shoulder.
Could be a bad blood. I didn't check the logo. Are there? I saw the logo, but I didn't notice. Are there multiple D's in the bad blood?
I would assume there is, yeah. It's
Okay.
2 D's at the end of bad. That's what it was
Bad
before, right?
blood.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, maybe Orton, because Orton Cody's going to be a thing too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they'll do that at the next Saudi Arabia show. I forget when that one is.
Early November.
Early November. That could be the case then. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Bad Bloodline got the win. Jacob Fatu, his first match in WWE, looked amazing. Looked really good. They did this great spot at the beginning where Orton suckers him in, throws him out of the ring. As Fatu's getting back in, he gets the draping DDT. Turns around like he always does, celebrates himself, and in the background, you see Jacob Fatu just completely no-sell the DDT. And so Orton goes and he does the thing where he gets down and then he looks up. It was a great visual, great performance for Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Yeah, Orton's doing the thing where he gets ready for the RKO and starts pounding on the mat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he kind of sees Jacob there and just lowers his head. Like,
Like, it's
He
going to be
sold it.
this kind of guy. It's
Yeah.
going to be this now.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a really strong debut for Jacob Fatu, continually, impressing people now that he's in WWE. So I thought that was really good. Somebody mentioned earlier the possibility. Oh, we'll talk about it here. Marty Jarvis here with the Super Chat says, while the whole Drew Punk situation was obvious, the interesting part for me is the fact Seth also got screwed by Punk because now he can't challenge for the title.
Yeah,
Right now, the heat is really with Drew and Punk in a one-on-one. Given that Seth Rollins is coming off injury and Punk they want to protect Punk to a degree. That's why they're not having him wrestle until SummerSlam.
So I just want you to clarify what that means. Protect him as in not having him lose or not having him wrestle because they don't want him to get hurt.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. So that he can
latter.
wrestle.
The
so
latter,
they
yeah.
can wrestle, yeah. Is there any chance they make this a triple threat in an
It's
effort to
possible.
try to
It's
do
possible
that?
because the end of the World Title match, World Heavyweight Championship match, Seth gets up and goes over, starts yelling at CM Punk. It's a possibility. Yeah, it for sure is a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because there's not anything likely for Seth otherwise.
No, and
Seth
that was going to be
Punk
the match at
supposed
Mania.
to be the Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. It was an up and down Money in the Bank. The women's match, I think, was really something else. I
Yeah,
mean,
it was really good.
there were some spots there.
There was some crazy
that were
stuff.
Nuts. So I thought that was really, really good. Before we dive into it, though, Larson, let's go ahead and pay some bills.
Let's do it. Let's take a break here. Get a word from our sponsor, Liquid IV. The Summer Olympics, they're nearly here, Steve. And
That's right, man.
you could say we're probably long shots to make this year's Team USA basketball squad.
I don't know, man. The way I was playing on Friday, ooh, boy.
Hey, maybe if you show up at the training camp, maybe they'll let you on the team.
Could be.
But hydration is still important for us when we play hoops twice a week.
That's absolutely correct, Larson. And Liquid IV provides us with superior hydration when we're out there on the basketball court. A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. And while Liquid IV is awesome for our one-on-one contests, it's also great for mental clarity and overall well-being.
So I spent a ton of time outside in this brutal Northern California heat over this long holiday weekend. Like I was basically in the sun all day on the 4th of July, barbecuing and chilling by the pool with temperatures well over 100 degrees. And I followed that up with 2 hours of basketball yesterday with you, Steve. And through it all, I was drinking Liquid IV to keep myself hydrated. I honestly don't think we'll be able to get to 2+ hours of hoops twice a week without drinking Liquid IV. And not only is Liquid IV the ideal companion for all your summer activities, it's also great for hydrating while you're traveling or before, during, or after your workouts.
Yeah, man, I'm putting in some right now because we got
There
this
you go.
review here. So tear, pour, and live more with America's #1 powdered hydration brand and turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code RAW at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code RAW at liquidiv.com. It's 106 outside right now.
And it's almost 8 o'clock in the p.m. That's how hot it is.
What is this?
Need to
Raspberry
hydrate.
melon, sugar-free, man.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
It's good stuff.
Anyways, so yeah, kicked off with men's Money in the Bank, which was good for Drew McIntyre. Maybe he probably thinks, God, I wish they put that men's Money in the Bank in the main event.
Yeah, that way, no cash in. No
I guess,
cash in,
yeah, your point about the wrinkle is good because the entire time I'm just thinking, man, shouldn't he be just like keeping an eye out for CM Punk? Where's like the wheeling and dealing Drew McIntyre? Remember he was cavorting with Judgment Day? Why doesn't he try to, get it? He needs a bodyguard.
I know.
He needs like an extra set of eyes.
He needs a heavy. Somebody.
Yeah.
He needs somebody having his back.
Yeah, bring back Von Wagner.
I suppose that's an option.
Yeah, or somebody. Gallus. He needs Gallus.
That would be
Where are the
good.
Gallus boys?
Yeah, give Gallus a call.
Joe Coffey can't win matches on NXT, but maybe he can keep an eye out.
Fortunes might be better on main roster if he's got Drew McIntyre's back. I would agree that the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was more creatively booked and with more exciting sequences and moments than the men's was.
Yeah.
Like Andrade did his customary sunset flip powerbomb off one ladder onto another one bridged between the ropes, and
that shit looks so dangerous.
Oh, yeah, the margin for error for a lot of this stuff is so razor thin.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad Gable had an amazing performance. He literally German suplexed the ladder.
Yeah.
A ladder during this match onto somebody. He just didn't do it on the mat. That wouldn't achieve anything.
Right.
He actually German suplexed the ladder onto somebody. So he had a great performance. Going into this, we assumed it was down to either Jey Uso or Drew McIntyre, and the finish of the match literally came down to those two competitors. Because you had Jey climbing the ladder, he's reaching for the briefcase, and then Drew gets in the ring with the ladder and then chucks it at Jey while he's trying to grab the briefcase, knocks him off. Drew climbs up to claim the briefcase. Mr. Money in the Bank for a grand total of maybe an hour and a half, if that. Not even that long, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
It was a pretty fun match, but it just didn't have the twists and turns I'd feel like of the women's match.
Yeah, the women's match definitely had like a lot more big spots.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a pretty solid match. After that, we had Braun Breaker with new theme music, including lyrics, a huge upgrade over his previous one. Curious as to when they're going to put this up on YouTube.
And new tights, too, that were more reminiscent of what he wore in NXT as opposed to saying badass on the front and meaner than evil right above the butt.
No longer meaner than evil. Maybe he's going to revert to that, though, because he did get beaten with one haluva kick by Sami Zayn. Were you surprised at not the outcome, but the way they got to the outcome of this match?
Yeah, it was, because this really seemed like one of those matches where, and it was kind of booked like this for a good chunk of it, where Sami was getting destroyed and would have to just outsmart Braun at a moment's notice to get the win. And what happened is Braun had the advantage. He looks for a spear. Sami literally looked like he just threw his foot out in Braun's direction to counter the spear. There wasn't even much behind the kick.
Yeah.
And then Braun kind of stumbles up in the corner. Sami hits him with a haluva kick to pick up the win. And we talked about Braun's match against Tommaso Ciampa in NXT, where Ciampa he had the experience advantage. He was the seasoned veteran in the ring. He just had an answer for all of Braun's stuff and just basically outsmarted Braun in the ring. And that was the story of the match. And I was kind of expecting something similar here. That's not exactly what we got. In fact, there was one instance where, on Raw this last week, Braun ran around the ring to try to spear Sami. Sami leapfrogged, and Braun goes running into the ring steps. Well, Sami tried that again, except this time Braun put the brakes on. He was the one that learned from the previous mistake or learned from the situation. And it just literally seemed like Sami, let's fling this foot out here to try to break the spear and then bang haluva kick. I figured Sami was going to win, but I thought it'd be more of a desperation pin situation.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting to the point where Sammy as scrappy underdog guy is just sort of like lol, Sammy wins. Like it kind of felt like that. I love Sami Zayn. I think he's like a top tier performer. I really do. I think he's great. But in my opinion, this ain't the story for Braun. Like learning by getting beat with one haluva kick, that should not be his story. Braun's like a force of nature.
Yeah.
Like they talk about, oh my God, he's so fast. He's just brute force. You know, he should be able to eat a haluva kick. And he should be able to like just spear like he goes off these ropes like 2 times and he gets, Sammy puts his foot out. Nah, man, he should spear that foot,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So I do think that in this case, more of like Sammy escapes Braun.
Exactly.
Should have been the story, not, Sammy killed him with one haluva kick. Like, let him kick out of the haluva kick is such a protected move. And I get it, but like, he's not exactly they can't do, here's the thing. If Sammy comes out and he says, oh, everybody doubted me again, but I'll keep on fighting as the underdog or whatever. No, dude, now you're the mountain. Now you're the guy that people need to topple.
I know. He beat Gunther at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He's won every defense since then. He just beat Braun Breaker. And not in a desperate fashion,
No.
At a certain point, someone's going to call Sammy out in this underdog stuff that he's doing now. I understand at certain points of his career, yes, it was very applicable. At this point now, yes, he is not the underdog.
You're the establishment, buddy.
The establishment, and someone should call him out on that.
Yeah,
it's like you come out here as portraying yourself as the underdog. Let's revisit recent history. Main event of WrestleMania 39, beat Gunther, who hadn't lost on the main roster to that point at WrestleMania 40. Won all your title defenses.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the underdog here?
Yeah.
Braun Breaker has a dog in him.
I'm the underdog.
Left out of the King of the Ring tournament. Overlooked.
Yeah, the real underdog.
Who's the real underdog here?
He's got a dog on his shirt.
He's got that dog in him, Steve.
Because he's got the dog in him, the underdog.
The underdog. So Braun Breaker should come out on Raw, confront Sami Zayn, and let's lay out the facts.
Yeah,
look, I love Sami Zayn too. He's great. Seems like an amazing dude.
Awesome guy.
But yes, this should have been Sami barely wins.
Yeah.
And he looks like he got run over by a bus in the process.
Yeah.
That way, you really put over Braun. It was just, all right, it's a fluke thing. These things happen,
There's not really even a path for like a rematch, too.
Not really.
I mean, unless he just wants one or he wins the match or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting to see. I suspect, because I always thought it was kind of too early for Braun Breaker anyways. Like they just shot him right into this Intercontinental thing. So
unless there was a story to tell in doing so,
Yeah. And I'm sure there will be. I'm sure that Braun will. It's part of fleshing him out. Monsters are so tough to book.
They are.
It's like, okay, well, he just wins. So I don't know. We'll see. But it'll be interesting to see what happens on Raw tomorrow. If
you mean
Braun
Monday?
just decides, what's that?
You mean Monday?
I know.
Today's
I keep on
Saturday.
thinking it's Sunday today. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Oh, man, I got to work. I got to talk about wrestling.
And you're like, no, I could sleep in.
Nah. Do some WrestleJuice.
I can lay on the couch and watch some Deep Space Nine.
Dude, on the Pluto TV channel, yeah. They're on a good run right now. It's season 4.
Is that Godfather channel still on Pluto?
No, it disappeared.
Well, I mean, how much mileage can you get out of running the same 3 movies all the time?
Punk's on the presser. He's got some sort of pastries with him.
This is just going to be the thing. He shows up at these press conferences with new baked goods, huh?
It just makes me hungry, to be honest with you.
I know. First time is clever. Second time,
Right. Anyways, let's see. So after that, Trish Stratus comes out and she introduces John Cena. If anybody's going to be at the SAC Anime Convention coming up in late August,
John Cena will be there.
John Cena will be there. He'll look a little emaciated or fat. I don't know, depending on, I'm on a decent diet right now. I'm going to go from fat John Cena to skinny John Cena. I'm never going to be buff
John Cena, huh?
I'm never going to be buff John Cena.
You got a month of change. You hit the gym hard.
Yeah, I know, but I got to get a lot of that protein powder. I got to do like 3,000 calories of just sheer protein.
You got to do that. You got to do a lot of protein, get some creatine in you.
Yeah, I don't
Then
mess
you got a
with that.
chance.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. Hopefully, look, if I'm skinny John Cena, I'll be happy. Anyways, so Trish introduces John Cena because I'm going to cosplay as John Cena because my
Why don't
kid's
you get one of those buff
cosplay.
suits?
No, it's okay. It's
going to be 120 degrees outside.
You know what? Yeah, it's going to be 120 degrees.
Problem solved. Liquid IV.
I mean, I love Liquid IV, but, I want to. Anyways, Trish Stratus introduces John Cena. Real John Cena, not Steve John Cena. He announces his retirement. He comes out, talks a long time.
Without it ever being actually crystal clear that it's for the full duration of 2025. I know his shirt
clarify that on the presser.
Yeah, like last farewell or whatever, farewell tour 2025. But he's like, it's going to be my last Royal Rumble, my last Elimination Chamber, Mania 41, my last WrestleMania.
Yeah,
so it made it seem like that was the time frame.
Thought that was the thing.
Yeah, but no, apparently it's all of 2025. I'm curious if it'll be a situation where he'll be like full time for probably Rumble through Mania season, take a little bit of a break, come back in the summer, take a little bit of a break, come back to wrap things up in the fall and winter.
That could.
'Cause I'm sure he's still shooting stuff. I mean, they're doing a season 2 of Peacemaker, right?
Yeah, they are. I think it's already filmed. Yeah, because Gunn's already on Superman. They already filmed Peacemaker.
That's right. All right.
I think they did Peacemaker before Superman.
Gotcha.
So if I want to do John Cena retirement tour, farewell tour, cosplay, $30 for the hat, 33 for the shirt, 15 for the accoutrements, and an extra 10 for the towel.
Why are the hats so expensive?
30 for a hat.
Yeah.
I think ours are 35. I think they are.
Well, ours are embroidered.
His is too.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So anyways. So Punk brought out Tim Hortons.
Oh, Tim Hortons. Donuts.
Yeah. That sounds good right now. But
You
I
ever had
can't
Tim
do
Hortons?
that. I got to be skinny John Cena for Sac Anime.
You know, I had Tim Hortons at the Toronto airport before.
Yay or nay?
It was good, yeah, like a glazed donut, but it was like a honey glaze.
Ooh.
It was light, but not Krispy Kreme light. I'm not huge on Krispy Kreme because they're too light and too sweet.
Unless they sponsor us, then I'll be all about them. Anyways, after that, we had he goes on about it. It went he was thanking people left and right. Boy, oh boy,
he was being very earnest.
It's way too earnest.
That's his thing now. He's earnest.
Yeah, I'm not huge on it. Hey, he'd make a good Ernest. They
You
brought
mean
back
from
that series.
Ernest Goes to Camp and stuff.
Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? Dude, think about Jim Varney. Cena kind of looks like that guy. We had Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest after that. God damn, this was a hell of a match before that. Before Drew ruined it.
I appreciate the pace they set instantly. It was a sprint. There was no feeling out process. There was no collar and elbow lockups. None of that.
None of that
It was
stuff.
just straight move. Early attempts at finishers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciated that Priest hit Seth with Dean Ambrose's original version of Dirty Deeds,
Yeah,
not the
man.
double underhook DDT, but like the forward, like the BFT, but instead of head up here, it's under the arm. Mm-hmm. Falling forward. I appreciate that. We talked about the Falcon Arrow spot where Priest didn't kick out. This is what brought Drew McIntyre to the ring. So Drew cashes in, ref rings the bell. It's a triple threat now. Drew runs into a super kick from Seth, but responds with the future shock, calling for the Claymore. Priest hits him with the clothesline. So Priest tosses Seth out of the ring, looks for a choke slam on Drew. Drew escapes, hits a kick, and that's when CM Punk rushes in and attacks him, blasts him a bunch with a chair. They're on the floor at this point, chokes him out with a cord on the ground, starts peppering him with punches, and then blasts him again with the chair. And that's when he walks over to the World Heavyweight Championship, which is on a little podium, stares at it, and then grabs it. And we think, okay, this is... Punk took his eye off the ball for a moment here. This should cost him.
Yeah.
In some capacity.
Yeah.
No, he just blasts Drew with it. And then goes sits on the announce table. Priest hits Drew with a choke slam to get the win. Priest leaves. Seth gets back to his feet, and he goes and starts talking crap to Punk. Oh, one thing to mention before this match, Priest went up to the rest of Judgment Day. They're in there playing WWE 2K24, and was like, "Hey, we good? You guys gonna have my back?" And Finn's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have your back, dude." Priest leaves, and Finn does like the most massive eye roll ever.
Yeah.
Like he's fed up with Priest bullshit.
Yeah, because he said, "Whatever you want, champ." And then Priest leaves, and then Finn very, sarcastically says, "Whatever you want, champ." Like you can just hear the dun dun dun. This is honestly, dude, this is when you need to pivot. When WWE, look, they do such a good job with their production. Let's get that fly on the wall shit. Have you seen that Twitter clip making the rounds that every once in a while makes the rounds, and it's Bubba Ray Dudley or Bully Ray and Steiner?
And Steiner, yeah, the 9 days a week thing, yeah.
It's so perfect.
They're shooting through a doorway or something, and they're in the locker room. I know.
Yeah, it's a candid moment. That's what these segments really need.
I know.
If there was one thing right now I would change about the production, it would be that. Kill these.
Yes.
Because, like, if you think about it, Finn's doing this, and there's just a camera guy right in his face. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't, because what's stopping Priest from watching Raw and seeing that?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Because the camera's not motivated.
Who doesn't look into the camera when there's a giant camera in their face?
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, so yeah, we talked about all that, the finish to the Priest-Seth stuff and the Drew cash-in. And then, yeah, they really were milking the Seth yelling at Punk thing. He was trying to get to him. Corey Graves was sort of holding him back.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if they make that a triple threat, because then after that, if they want, they could do Drew Punk 101, and then after that, do Seth Punk 101 too. You can kind of have your cake and eat it too, triple threat, and then individual 101 matches.
Yeah, absolutely. After that, we had women's Money in the Bank. Chelsea Green, Io Sky, Lyra Valkyria.
Lyra Valkyria. It's not that difficult.
Thank you for that. Naomi, Zoe Stark, and Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, dude, this was just like fucking crazy ass moment after crazy ass moment.
There was a spot where there was two ladders next to each other, and Naomi starts climbing, 1 foot on each ladder. And we're like, why is she doing that? Just one ladder. And then we realize that someone starts pulling the ladders apart while she's maintaining her balance, staying upright while these ladders are being pulled apart.
Yeah.
And then someone manages, one ladder is starting to tip over too, and she's managed to keep her balance, enough leverage to hit a DDT in the midst of all that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Naomi really should have won.
It was fantastic. Chelsea Green was, in my opinion, probably the MVP of the match. Came out, they were telling a story of everybody leaves and goes fighting on the outside. She's stuck there. She grabs a ladder, sets it up, but they've been telling this thing where she's afraid of heights now. And so she goes up. Oh, she's like, I can't. Goes back down. So that plays out a little while. Eventually Io Sky comes in and beats her up with a ladder. But everybody got a really great little moment to shine like that. And everybody did. I thought everybody did a really, really great job. And yeah, they did a bit where Chelsea and Tiffany form a brief alliance and set up some tables on the side. Well, Chelsea goes up towards the finish, and she's batting at that thing, and she's starting to take it down. And Tiffany shows up. She climbs up, and Chelsea's because she starts rocking the ladder to shake her away from the briefcase. So Tiffany climbs up, and Chelsea's like, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" And then she shoves her off through the tables. Just an absolutely insane bit.
Yeah. And Chelsea could not have hit those tables anymore.
Oh, she hit them perfectly.
Yeah.
And then Tiffany grabs a briefcase.
Yeah, definitely check this out. There's all sorts of awesome creative. I was just kind of bemoaning the state of the ladder match at Forbidden Door because there's crazy stuff, but I didn't really feel like it was necessarily creative. Crazy stuff. It's just crazy spot after crazy spot after crazy spot, not really tied together too much by story. I know that's kind of the nature of ladder matches and typically of Money in the Bank ladder matches too. I just really appreciate the creativity in this one. Yeah. At this point, that's kind of all I'm asking is we know the formula for ladder matches. At least give us something a little creative. There's White Brownie here mentions the EO Zoe spot, the tombstone off the ladder to another one bridged between the ropes and the ladder. That was nuts.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But it was also creative. It's something I had seen before. And the way EO, Zoe sold it, obviously she took the tombstone, but the way EO sold it, where she's down kind of like sitting back. It was great.
Yeah.
It's great stuff.
It was really awesome.
It was good stuff. So yes, Tiffany wins. We take you have some video packages for the commercial breaks. For people who don't have, was it Premium Plus on Peacock?
Yeah, something like that.
Premium
Don't have
Plus?
pay extra money.
What is Premium then? Premium Plus.
Oh,
is the one that
premium.
gets you commercials.
Yeah, I don't know. Free. I think. Is there a free?
No, I think you have to pay for it.
Okay, so cheap is like you get
Maximum
ads,
commercials. You get more commercials than programming.
and maybe you don't have access to everything they have.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Honestly, don't know.
I just paid more because I didn't want the commercials.
Yeah, we can write it off.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we
Exactly.
do write it off.
So
Anyways,
after all
coming
that,
back from that, Tiffany
Yeah.
interrupts a Trish Stratus backstage interview, and she's like, "I'm going viral," and then Trish is like, "Congratulations," but Tiffany's like, "No."
well, she's like, Trish is like, what happens after you cash in was important, whether you're going to be a Hall of Famer, and she shows off her Hall of Fame ring, or just another flash in the pan.
Yeah.
That's what she said. So,
And then we had the main event, Bad Bloodline.
put your ones up
Confirmed,
for Bad Bloodline, Steve.
Yeah, I'll put my ones up. They got the win today in this match with Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton. Man, the Bloodline matches, do you all follow a similar story?
You got to have your ref bump. After the ref
Ref
bump in this,
bump.
things got chaotic.
They got very chaotic, yeah.
It was pretty crazy after the ref
Including
bump.
one of my favorite low blow spots in a while. Kevin Owens gets Tama Tonga up for seemingly a package pile driver.
Yeah, that popped me.
But then Tonga Loa comes over and he gives him a low blow. And I don't know if Owens didn't realize it at first or what, but he gives him a second one. And this time he like whacks Tama Tonga on the head doing it, but it got Kevin Owens out of the equation. Mission accomplished.
In defense of Tonga Loa, it's tough to deliver a low blow when someone has someone up for a package pile driver.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
It's not like if it was a power bomb, that's easier. There's nothing in the way of hitting the front area there.
Because yeah.
Because in the setup, Tama Tonga's head's right in the crotch.
No, I know, I get that. I'm just saying,
Pick
if I'm
him up,
giving
his head's
it,
still there.
if I'm Tongaloa, I'm like, okay, do I need to really be careful with this low blow and only go for like the testes, just the balls,
Yeah.
and not overreach, and because then I'll hit him in the head. Not
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens
Tama Tonga in the head.
in the actual his head, not his bell end.
Yes.
Right.
No, I understand that. But I appreciate they tease the package pile driver because they haven't done that in WWE. I'd pop huge. We see it all the time in AEW. We're the best wrestle.
Yeah, they can do it there because the best wrestler.
They do. That's like a common move in AEW.
Yeah, right.
It's like a super kick. WWE, they don't do the pile drivers, much less package pile drivers. So it's not quite to the same degree when Sami Zayn hit the top rope brainbuster.
No, that was S tier.
But it's just a step below that to see Kevin Owens drop someone with the package pile driver in WWE. So to tease it, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. Maybe at WrestleMania.
Maybe. They do destroyers now from time to time in WWE. I don't see why they wouldn't do a package pile driver.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens knows how to do it safely.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. They should start doing regular pile drivers.
Yeah. Half the time people do in AEW, when they bring people down, they just kind of lay them on top of them, so there's no contact to head on mat. So
yeah, I know, exactly. Like, I kind of feel confident the pile driver is the kind of move that you and I could do.
We could do safely, maybe.
Yeah, sure. All you do, I'd get over in power bomb position, right? And then like you just fall backwards and I fall on top of you.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
We could do that shit.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
We could be wrestlers.
No, we can't be wrestlers. Not with my neck. I can't be
definitely
taking any
could
pile
not.
drivers at all.
I can't even take a regular flat back bump. I could barely
I'd
say
concuss
that
myself. I'd so concuss myself. I wouldn't be able, I'd tuck my chin,
Ooh.
bash my head against the mat.
Anyways, like you said, pure chaos finished off this match. We had a visual pin. Didn't we have a visual pin? Cody hit Solo with like a bunch of crossroads.
With
right?
3 crossroads, right?
Yeah,
Or is that
didn't
the
have
visual pin before? Let me check the notes here. So Solo hits the spear on Cody, gets a 2 there. Cody looks for a pedigree, and that's when the ref bump happens. So Cody hits a crossroads. Oh, that's right. Cody hits a crossroads. KO hits
That's
a frog
right.
splash on Solo, and then Orton follows with an RKO. But rather, at this point, like the ref is starting to come to. He's like bracing himself against the ring steps. But Cody clears off the announce table. He calls for the Shield triple team power bomb through the table. But Jacob Fatu runs in, breaks that up, and then he charges forward and runs right into the ref.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, someone sidesteps, but he runs right into the ref. So Kevin Owens, he's fighting with Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, hits the frog splash off the barricade through the announce table on Jacob Fatu. Owens rolls Tama Tonga back in. That's when he's looking for the package pile driver. That's when Tonga Loa had to do the double take on the low blow. Orton hits RKOs on Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and then Solo spikes Orton. Rhodes hits him with the crossroads. Hits with another, looks for a third, and then Jacob Fatu breaks the third up with a Whisper in the Wind, follows with an Impaler DDT.
Mm-hmm.
So then Jacob Fatu picks up Solo, and then he goes and holds up Cody while Solo hits Cody with the spike, and then Jacob Fatu gets the ref in the ring to count. Bloodline get the win.
That is correct.
And afterwards, Tonga Loa, I believe, presents Solo with the Ula Fala, and we were thinking, oh, maybe based on the fact that this was the main event as opposed to the World Heavyweight Championship match, it gets your brain to thinking someone's coming back. There's a story beat that's going to happen here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whether it's Roman, whether it's Jimmy, whoever, someone's coming back.
So I can confirm now that Solo Sikoa's height on Wikipedia is listed as taller than Steve.
Excellent. Do a screen cap of that so we know what it happened.
Yeah, I got it right here. Greg Morris got it.
So when Tonga Loa was about to present Solo with the Ula Fala, if you'd have heard Roman's music, it would have made sense. But as Dang MQ points out, and others in chat mentioned during the stream, that today was Sika's funeral.
Yeah.
And that's Roman's dad. So it makes sense he wasn't there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, nonetheless, Solo receives the Ula Fala, puts it on, and like the whole announce table area is just obliterated.
Yeah.
And there's some dude holding up a monitor behind Cole and Graves so they can watch the action and call the match.
Mm-hmm.
So bad bloodline stand tall. You got to think on SmackDown on Friday, Solo's going to issue the challenge to Cody for SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, fighting champ, he'll accept. And I would anticipate Solo leaning more and more and more and more into the idea that Roman dropped the ball. He's out. He ain't coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the tribal chief now. Put your ones up for Solo Sikoa, our tribal chief, Steve. And no, come on, enthusiasm. Put that one up. One up for Tonga Loa Low Blow. There you go. And it's collision course now to Roman coming back at SummerSlam. It's inevitable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He's going to come back at, it's interesting that they'll have him there. Won't have a match, but then that's sort of the long game.
That's what happened in 2020. He came back at SummerSlam.
That is true. Yeah. He came back at SummerSlam and then he took the title the next pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah.
What was that next?
Yep.
What was the next pay-per-view? Was it Extreme Rule? No, it wasn't Extreme Rules.
No, it wasn't Battleground.
I don't know what it was.
Give me a moment, I'll check.
He got it. I can see that. It's just going to be interesting to see, like, okay, because after Roman comes payback. After Roman comes back, then it'll be The Rock, and I wonder if that's going to happen. If that's going to precede, if that's going to be before Survivor Series. If they're going to do that War Games match. So I don't know.
Because you got to think if Roman's going to reassemble Bloodline to be a good Bloodline, then you got to have the recruitment process of Jimmy and especially Jay.
Right. That could be a while.
And that could be a while. So I don't think there's any guarantee we get a War Games match between good Bloodline and bad Bloodline this November. I don't think that's a certainty by a stretch of the imagination.
Dude, and you know what? I'm so fine with that. I really wish that they would divorce War Games from Survivor Series and just make it an organic thing. You know, it seems like they've replaced Hell in a Cell with bad blood. And so, again, they might have a Hell in a Cell match there,
Yeah.
But doesn't have to be everybody has a Hell in a Cell. They don't usually do that, but you don't need to have it there, you know.
No.
So yeah. Anyways, we had a question about the predictions challenge because it goes into tomorrow
For Heat Wave, yeah.
for Heat Wave.
So our leaders right now are Jabroni714.
Jabroni.
And my spirit animal is a Dorito. Tied for first.
Great names.
Jerry in the bank, 1 point
Jerry.
behind.
You think Jerry in the Bank's going to get this? It's Jerry in the Bank.
Good point. And then we have 4 people tied for fourth at 24 points. Adam Beveridge, Brandon't, Sebastian Garcia, and former champion Fear and Loathing.
Yeah. And then former Money in the Bank winner, the first ever Money in the Bank winner, Flannelly Dan, is only 3 points off the lead with 23 points, along with John Talks a Bit. So a lot to be decided in a relatively unpredictable heat wave tomorrow. So we'll find out. You guys will find out on Monday when we come back who won the Money in the Bank predictions challenge.
If you're participating in the predictions challenge, best of luck to you tomorrow for Heat Wave.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and I are going to need it. We're way back.
Yeah, we're pretty sad. We're in a sad state of affairs here.
We are.
You've got 17 points and I've got 15 points.
Yeah.
So trash city.
It's fine. My focus
here.
is completely on the G1 and repeating there. So
tall task. You gonna start? What's your research situation gonna be like for the G1?
Triple H says booking is like GPS. You set the destination and you follow the twists and turns there. Yeah. So I'm going to say, who do I think is going to be in the final, and just go backwards from there.
Okay. Can you share your answers with me?
No.
Throw your ones up for sharing answers?
No.
Wow. Okay. Not into that.
Tongaloa low blow. Throw your one up.
Yeah, I'll throw my one up for that one.
There we go.
Anyways. Whoever wrote the Wikipedia entry, taller than Steve, throw your ones up.
Throw your ones up.
There you go. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Thanks to Liquid IV for being our sponsor for today's episode. And, we'll see you guys on a Monday. Oh, our star ratings, by the way, will be going up first thing tomorrow. Friendo Club Wrestling, so be sure to check that out.
Yes.
And I'll be doing the Wrestle Juice Hot Takes for Money in the Bank. That'll be going up at some point as well in the next 12 hours, probably. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.